Hello there, I'm Wolf, and welcome to this basic sky replacement tutorial. This is the original shot, and this is the first example I made. And this is the second example. They both have their plus and minus points, and they're both a little bit different. I think the edge could do with a little bit more cleaning up on the second one. But on the plus side, the lamppost looks, okay. So, to start off with, we're going to go back to After Effects. We'll minimize all this junk. And that, whatever that is. Right, so we'll take our sky footage, drop it into a new composition. I'm working in 16 bits per channel. Basically what that means is you get a wider color range value thing. It doesn't really matter, you can work in 8 if you want. You can work in 32, but I wouldn't recommend it. So we'll rename this composition. Call it, I'll just hit enter on the keyboard there. We'll call it like a main comp. I'm going to close some of this junk here. Okay, this is our main comp, and to start off with, we're going to motion track it. So, actually, I'll post the main comps. So we'll get distracted here. It's bad. So we'll right click on our footage, and we will choose track motion. My track window is up here. I think normally it appears down here. But if you want to pull it out, just hold down Control on the keyboard, and then you can drag it around and rip it free. So we're going to track the position, the rotation, and the scale. So we'll zoom in here, and could take some. You need something that stays in the shot all the time. So maybe earlier I used the corner of this building, and I think I'm going to use that again because it stays in the shot all the time, and it's a pretty good point. So we'll zoom in, take this first track point, and we'll put it on that corner. Scale it a bit, scale this up because it's quite a shaky shot. We'll put it back down. This is just some video I shot with my iPhone camera. And we'll put the other point on this chimney here because that also stays in the shot all the time. Just trust me, it does. So I'll take track point 2, position it on the chimney, scale that up as well, and like that. So ready, we'll zoom out and hit track forward. Okay, so that's done tracking, and I'm not going to lie to you, that took about 6 minutes to track. Yeah, that took ages to track, and I think it's my fault for making this search area so big, so live and learn. Also, for some reason, we've gone back to 8 bits per channel, and I don't know why that is, so I'll just hold on Alt, click on that, go back to 16. I'm also an idiot because I closed the track thing. This is really bad. So I'll go back to Window, pick back up the tracker, we've got a track, and we'll go to Layer, click on our comp, go to Layer, New, Null Object. It's going to be our track. And we'll go to Edit Target, make sure our track is selected. OK, apply, X and Y. Go. Now we can close the tracker. Yeah, we're on a roll. So, see now we've got this lovely null object stuck to the corner of that house, which is great for tracking. So, shut that down, hide that. So from here we need to key out the sky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select our layer, go to Effect, Color Correction, Colorama. Now what this does is it kind of tints colors to other colors based on their intensity, alpha, lightness, whatever you want. Now what you could do for this case is just go to Effect, Keying, sorry, Luma key, and just key out the sky, but that looks horrible. Look at these edges. Yeah, disgusting. So delete the Luma key, and that effect just doesn't give us can't talk today. That effect does not give us enough control. So the layer selected, go to Effect, Color Correction, Colorama. Go to the output cycle, choose ramp grey. So basically what we've done now is we've tinted our image black and white. So what we're going to do is, you can see if we click about here, roughly at 9 o'clock on the wheel, we can add a black node. What that does is it helps crush everything except the really bright colours. Crush that down. And don't worry here about these super bright bits because they're hard to get rid of, I know. What we can do is click here and add in a white node. We can bring this down and really tighten it up. So what we're doing is creating a luma matte of our footage. So you can scrub through, you can see got a nice white sky, black, everything else. One thing you want to keep an eye on is this lamp, because I know in this particular shot the lamp is a pain to work with. And you know, we can kind of pull the black down a bit, just that. And you know, it's okay-ish. Okay, so we will now go ahead and I'm going to duplicate the layer. So edit, duplicate, and the bottom one will just delete this effect. And we'll take this, we'll go to layer, pre-compose, it's just off the screen here. It does me pre-compose. To call this matte. Make sure we move all attributes into new composition. Okay, and then we'll open this up by double clicking on it. And we'll select the layer. And I'm going to add a slight blur, methinks. So, like 2 pixels, 1 pixel, 2, 1, that'll do. Just a little bit, just to soften the edges very slightly. You can see here, if you look at my info palette, there's like a middle grey there now. Excuse me. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all this stuff at the bottom. So I'll go to a main comp, click on our track null object, edit, copy, go back to matte comp, edit, paste. So now I've got our track data in here, up here. Turn it off, and we're going to go to layer, new, solid. We'll make this solid. If we lock these, make it really big, like 2.5 or 3,000 pixels, or thereabouts. Whatever color we want, like green. Okay. Now we'll shut it off. Zoom out here by scrolling down on the mouse wheel. We'll grab the pen tool, and we'll just mask around here. Make it a pretty big mask. And what we can do is we're going to parent this to the null object, so our mask will follow the footage. And you can see here it is kind of going out a bit, so we can just grab that point, pull it down. And I think, for the most part, that covers it nicely. So we'll put this green solid above our footage, set the track matte of the footage. If you can't see this, click on this button here. We'll set the track matte of the footage to alpha matte. So now we've got transparency here, and it'll only show through the alpha of our thingy layer, this green solid. But we don't want transparency because we want a perfect black and white matte. So we'll go to layer, new, solid, make this a comp size, and completely black. Okay, and we'll put it in the back like that. So now we've got a nice, perfect black and white luma matte, and the lamppost isn't looking too bad here. That's good. We have got a little bit of grey here, but just because it's so little, I don't think that'll be a problem. I think this is a better key. Best key I've had out of all the examples. One problem I noticed is here. Our house is getting a bit kind of, these light bits are showing through. So what we could do is add another solid, make it black, comp size, okay. Turn it off, grab the pen tool, zoom in here. We'll just mask around it quite pretty neatly-ish, like that. Turn it on, parent it to the null, and now I just grab through it, covers it up, and I nicely. It does kind of come off a bit, so I could just grab our black solid, just move it over slightly. Go, turn off. Yeah, it's looking good. Okay. So zoom out, and we've got this wonderful, beautiful black and white Luma matte. Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? So we'll go back to our main comp. Here's our matte. We'll set our track matte of our footage to Luma inverted. It's off the screen here. L-I-N-V. No, actually it's this one, Luma inverted matte. And that will key out everything that is white on this layer. So it'll only show through the black bits. Our edges are looking a little bit fuzzy, so we could go back to our matte, double click, and add a new adjustment layer. And on this adjustment layer, I'm going to add a slight blur, again like a couple of pixels, like 3. We'll repeat the edge pixels because of we've got kind of like transparency showing through here, so we'll repeat them. And what we can do is, you can see here, we kind of want to stretch the matte a bit, extend it, but because it's black and white, we can't really add a matte choke because there's no alpha. So instead we can go to color correction, curves, and brighten it. And you can see how as we brighten it, extends it, or shrinks it. So we brighten it a bit, not too much because our lamppost need to keep an eye on main comp. And we're getting pretty good edges here. You know, we could maybe just lower the blur a bit, like 2. Ah, yeah, it looks okay. Okay is okay. So now we'll go back to our project and bring out our sky. The sky just looks like that image of the sky. Surprise, surprise. So we'll move it up a bit and we'll parent it, grab it using the pick whip to the track. Now stays in place and looks good. Obviously it doesn't fill the frame here, so we could just click on the sky, hit S on the keyboard, and scale it up a bit, and move it over as well. So now it's come off a little bit, so we'll move it back slightly. And I think this stays in this shot. Oh no, too little, so we'll scale it up some more. There we go. And now as we scrub through, you can see the sky stays. Oh no, that's black I saw. Yes, it was. Let's scale it up even more. There we go. I think the sky stays in shot now. That looks pretty good. And because it's so scaled up, we can actually just move it around a bit, maybe towards the bottom. Kind of like that. Yeah, that looks good. Look at that. Now, obviously, it does need color correcting. Oh, it's raining outside. Such a shame. So it needs color correcting. So we're going to do that now. We'll come to like a nice frame where we can see lots of it. Here looks good. Select the sky layer. Effect. Color correction. Curves. And it looks a little bit bright compared to our footage, so we could darken it a bit. Obviously it is the sky, so we don't want to make it too dark. And when you darken things, they tend to become overly saturated. This blue looks very, very vivid, you know. So effect, color correction, tint is off the screen here, I apologize. And if we turn that down and scrub through, I know that this car here has got really bright white on, so we grab this, choose this white, and this black, we can choose like black here. And that will kind of just tint it a little bit more accurately. It won't make much of a difference, but every difference is a difference. Now here our edges are looking a little bit kind of, there's a white halo around them, so I could go here, brighten it a bit more, and brighten it, blur down, maybe just turn the blur off completely. add another curves on top of that. Color correction curves, and we'll just brighten that really high. Maybe add a little bit of blur, like 1 pixel. It looks a lot better. So zoom out again. Here we go. And the sky is not looking too bad. It does look a little bit vivid compared to these. Like this back house here. That's got reflection on it. But yeah, that's okay. I'll zoom out. Carry on color correcting. Just keep color correcting. So back to our sky. Effect. Color correction. Maybe add like change to color. If we pick from this bright blue, oh, I forgot to tint it a bit. From the bright blue here to, although it looks white, you can see how the hue is at the red. So we'll push the hue through to like another blue, and you can see it doesn't make much difference. It makes a bit of a difference, and it's kind of makes it better. So shrink these down, give ourselves some room. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new solid layer, new solid, comp size, make it a different color like red, just to differentiate. Put this above our sky, turn it off, grab the pen tool here, and we're just going to kind of mask across the top of these houses here. Zoom out and click, 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 click. Now one mistake I've just realised I've done now is the layer is this red solid is the same size as our comp, but actually we want it to be bigger. So if we hit M on the keyboard, you can select the mask, go to edit, cut, choose our solid, layer, solid settings, push it up big. Okay, now we can paste our mask back on it. If we hadn't cut and pasted the mask, it would have just scaled the mask as well, and that would be bad. It would. So now we've got this here, and we'll go back to where it was, like there. We'll parent it to the track here. So now if we turn this on, it's red solid. Well, we can only have to see it. It's there, and we can then set the sky to alpha inverted matte. So that'll do is it'll only show up where this red matte doesn't. So the red matte shows up in this mask, and that'll basically remove it from the sky. We've got the red solid. So we'll hit F on the keyboard, and we'll feather this out like a lot, like that. Like 300 pixels. It's great. The problem here we've got now is this is kind of going transparent. We're losing it. So what we can do is we can firstly hide some stuff here because it's going to get crazy. Secondly, we'll add a new solid. We're going to make this like a blue, really light blue for this guy. Not perfect white, very slightly blue. Not like that, but really slightly blue, like 8% blue. Okay, and we'll put this in the back. And now I can see this is showing up. So we can hit T on the keyboard, lower the opacity of the sky just a bit. And I think what I did was I set the blending mode, so you can toggle the switches and modes. I set the blending mode of the sky to multiply. And you can see there was a slight change there. Undo. Set this to multiply, and that just tints the clouds very slightly to the colour underneath. Making it better yet again. So since we lowered the opacity, I could do that just a bit, maybe a bit like that, that's fine. Could add another curves, color correction curves, maybe darken it a bit. Or let's say we could just delete these curves, go to effect, color correction, exposure, and kind of underexpose it just a little, maybe minus 0.45. Change the offset here, or gamma maybe, push it up, and we're starting to get somewhere. You know, it looks pretty good. I haven't really seen any motion blur in our shot, so that's okay. You could turn the motion blur on for this guy and the comp, but I don't think that would really have any benefit. So we'll leave that off, and this is looking pretty good. Maybe color correct this guy a bit more. Just bring this down to half resolution here to make it a bit faster. So effect, color correction, curves, and we could like boost the red, maybe bring the red down a bit, and the green as well. Maybe bring the green up. It's looking good. Not too much, add a little bit of contrast maybe. Yeah, it's looking good. So, we've got this now. Maybe brighten it. Touch, add some contrast. Yeah, okay. Stop fiddling. That looks pretty good. So once we're done, we'll go ahead to composition, add to render queue, set this to a QuickTime 30 JPEG. I like 93, gives pretty good. Put it on best obviously, but you know, who cares. Okay, and we'll go ahead and we'll call this next sky replacement 3 because I've got 2 others. Save. We'll render that out. Okay, so this is what we created. Now there were a couple of problems I noticed here, where the map kind of tore apart, and again you would have just to solve that, we'd have just added another mask like I did in here for these 2 white bits, and parented that to the tracker null. The light, maybe you would have had to rotoscope that. I'm not quite sure, maybe just fiddle some more with the matte. But on the whole, it doesn't look too bad apart from this disgustingness. I think in the original example, what I did was I added somewhere here. I added a turbulent displacement to the sky. Turbulent displace to the sky, which basically just animated the clouds a bit. Just gave them a little bit of life. But on the whole, it's not too bad. If you look at the footage, this is the original, remember. This was our finished sky replacement. Okay, so I made a few changes and I rotoscoped out the lamp, like the lamppost, like you can see here. And I fixed the tearing we had in the background as well. So this is what the amended version looks like. And you can see I also added some turbulent displacement to the clouds here. So back to After Effects. By the way, I have recorded this after the original tutorial, so that's why it might seem a bit out of sync. What I did was I went to the sky, added this turbulent displacement here, added a quick expression to the stopwatch, which was time times 20. So you just hold down Alt, click on the evolution, type in time, star 20, and that did that. That animated the clouds. And for the lamppost, I went through and I rotoscoped it out, which wasn't too hard, was because I parented the rotoscope to the track, so I only had to adjust it a little bit. I also sorted it out. It's down to half resolution here. I also rotoscoped out through this part here, so when the lamppost crosses through here, eventually we'll get there. Yeah, I rotoscoped that out as well. And that took me ages to work out how to do because of mask complications. So I rotoscoped all that out. And the tearing here, you see I've just got a load of white solids here. There was a annoying thing kept popping up somewhere here. So it's not here yet. That kept popping up, so I just put a thing on there, a white solid over it, and parented that. Well, I didn't parent that actually because of where it was. It didn't coincide with the tracking null object. So what I did, yeah, that's what I've done basically. This is the sky footage here. I've right clicked on this and shows guide layer. What that means is I can turn it on and it won't render in the main comp. That's fine. I think that's all I did. I have rendered out this matte for you. So if you want to have a go at what I was doing, you're really lazy. Here's a luma matte you can use. That's just the matte. I had to put some feathering on the mask of the lamp as well, because it didn't look right. So I think that's all there is. I really should be going now because I've been going for years on this tutorial. I want to get out of here. I'll put the project file up, I'll put that map file in, and I'll put the original footage, which is this white one here. That one. So I'll put that in, and my example. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.